that's where we put Deb and a couple others got moved around.
Sorry, bud.
See, you got about 30 seconds. I forgot my stick. Could you maybe go out my?
We are live, by the way.
I know. All right, we'll call the meeting to order this morning and have you rise for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Robertson. Here. Obermeyer.
Present.
Burgess.
Here.
Bowman.
Here.
Groves.
Here. Open meetings law is posted in the back of the room as well as outside in the hallway. The proof of publication for this meeting was posted in the newspaper on January 27th and on the York County website, January 22nd. Need to review and approve the minutes from the January 20 Board of Commissioners meeting.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Perfect. Any discussion? Roll call.
Bowman.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Robertson. Yes. Groves.
Yes. And we need to take up adoption of agenda for today.
Move for approval of today's agenda.
Second.
Perfect. Any discussion? Roll call.
Obermeyer.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Robertson. Yes. Burgess.
Yes.
Groves.
Yes. All right. Officials forum. Who want to speak to us today?
Good morning, Craig County, York Roads Department, York County Roads Department.
Ashley Rasmussen, York County Roads Department.
This will be a little bit longer. We've got a lot on our papers. Start off with, we met with the electrician to discuss the generator that we purchased to get it hooked up at the shop in York. Got a quote for that and it was very reasonable, so we're going ahead with it. I've met and visited with several times Kat and John Deere to start discussions again about motor grader purchase. That'll be in front of you here in the next week or so. Discussed with Sourcewell about the plow pickup that we talked about a while back for replacing our city-based plow route, replacing a state truck that we have that's definitely on its last leg. We're painting the gravel trailers, if you remember, and it's going quite well. We've started spraying instead of brushing on the second one, so it's looking quite a bit better. At least we're getting the rust covered up. Auction went over wonderful, I believe, and been a lot of things leaving the yard. Before commission, we figure we made about 35,000. So that went well. And beginning this week, we're gonna let one truck haul all through the month, each day. So we should get 3 loads a day of gravel. And we're gonna stockpile there at the yard. So get a little bit of inventory on hand in case we get caught with a lot of rain in March. So,
Or snow.
or snow, whichever. And then Ashley's got some stuff.
Driveway applications. We've been going through those, cleaning those up over the years. Had 2 guys go through the county the last 2 weeks, get those all cleaned up. So If you have been notified at the public that, hey, do you still need this driveway? That is why. I had someone ask me or tell me that they didn't know that they needed an application. So that is something that I just wanted to make public knowledge. If you do anything in the right of way, there's an application or a permit. We had all of our motor grader operators driving their area when they couldn't be in their blades, looking for tree piles that need to be burned in the ditches. There is a statute, it's 39-301. You can pile them there, but you gotta get them burned. It causes problems for snow removal, it causes drips, and it's just basically an eyesore. So we're gonna be sending out letters regarding tree piles in the ditches. Now is the time to, I don't know if you guys noticed last week, but there was a lot of people burning on a few of those days, so trying to get that cleaned up. And we have a couple of areas left that we need to address yet. Any questions?
Does the statute allow a time frame? I'm not familiar with it. I mean, because if it's allowing them to do it, there's a liability on us to have an obstruction just in case of an accident. Does it give them a time frame in the statute? Are you aware, Ashley?
It says 5 days.
Okay,
Yes,
so then I would say we refer to that.
yes,
We're reaching out.
yeah.
Piles that have been there for several years. There's several of them around the county, so. Plus it could hinder drainage pretty bad. I mean, we don't want another 19 with that big rain and melting event destroy our roads. And that goes along with the driveway permits as well, you know, throwing a ditch block in just because it's convenient could cause a lot of problems for our road system, so. Need to go through the proper channels and make sure if it don't need a culvert or some don't, so.
Sure. Very good. Any other questions?
And can we get a summary report of the auction rate?
Oh, yes. You mean
Just
like
email
what
it.
sold for what?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Just-
I
I'm
do
sure
have
they-
one.
Yeah, email that out. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
like to see
sure.
what you're looking at.
Just to all the commissioners? Okay, all right,
Will do.
we'll do that.
Okay. So
Thank
stick
you.
around for the.
Yep.
Public
Yep.
hearing here a little later.
We'll be here.
All right, sounds good, thanks. Other officials, got a few in the room, but it's also got things on the agenda for them, so, okay. Anything up here?
Well, briefly. And so calendar year 2025, and I state this in respect to trajectory for what you might be faced with, the board might be faced with as far as spending when it comes to court-appointed counsel and to prisoners being housed in other jurisdictions and to possible insurance having to kick in for health-related matters to people that are incarcerated. But for 2025, we had, in county court, we had 968 filings. That was a 32% increase over 2024, which was tied for the highest, practically tied for the highest year we had in filings. For juvenile court case numbers, which specifically affects the spending, particularly on court-appointed counsel, we had 122, which was an increase of 71.83% from 2024. And in district court, we had 173 filings compared to 142 in 2024 for a 21.83% increase. And I just state that there was a little lag in November, but December kicked up quite a bit, and January has continued the momentum. So I mentioned that from the respect of housing prisoners and money that will be needed for court-appointed counsel.
Very good.
Any questions?
Next time, remind me to pull the mic.
Yeah.
Closer.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the only thing I got.
Got it. Were you able to hear me, Willard?
As much as I wanted to.
All right. Any other officials at this time? Move on to the public forum. Anyone from the public that wishes to speak?
Randy always said, "Hi, Willard."
Good
No, I'm
morning.
talking to the chairman. Anyway, whatever. Willard Peterson, 514 Road 13. My address is York. You know the rest of it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I want it on public record. My address is York. I'm from Bradshaw, and I'm very proud of that. So thank you very much. I pulled into what I consider my parking lot out there, just like I consider that my chair. And I thought, oh, I have not acknowledged you guys for what you did out there. And since you're all wondering what the heck's that, it refers to getting the handicap parking spots out there. Yes, I do have a handicap sticker. Anyway, and I do appreciate that. And also I want to inform you, in case you think that was a waste of time, there's been several times now, I've come here for real business, and those spots were being used already, which means I had to walk farther, but I'll probably live. But anyway, so they are being used. So I think it's a good thing that you guys did. There'd actually be, I don't know what the really wide space between them, there'd almost be room for a third one, but that's probably have to follow some rules or something. I don't know. So anyway, okay. Geez, that's being all positive today. I'm gonna have to come out with something else. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Willard. Anyone else from the public? Seeing nobody get up, we will go ahead and move on down the agenda. As far as I know, we do not need an executive session today, and there are no general assistance cases today. So that takes us to review and approve payroll and vendor claims. Fairly straightforward this time around, it looked like.
Move to approve payroll and vendor claims.
Thank you.
Second.
Perfect. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes. All right. Took care of the funding transfers last week. I think we're fine for now. Discuss and act on adopting a resolution for partial payments of property taxes. Megan's here to help talk through some of that with us.
Megan Williams, treasurer.
All right, so my understanding is board has never gone through anything with partial payments. Is
Yeah,
that the way your understanding as well?
not that I could find, but we do currently have partial payments.
Okay,
So,
very good. So if you want to kind of walk us through the way you're doing it and what we need to do to either say you can continue that or change your practice.
so currently we are only accepting partial payments for undivided parcels between multiple siblings or family members. Most of them don't get along. So we have a holding fund for that money that can go into, but we can't receipt that real estate receipt until we have the full amount, or either a full first or full payment of that. So it just sits in that holding fund until that gets collected in full. They're still responsible for interest. If the last payment is late, it's still subject to the interest. It's also subject to tax sales and all that if it's not taken care of. I think in the statute too, it says that if they're not paying on a regular basis, or if it's not coming in the way it's supposed to, that I can then go ahead and return the money back to them once it becomes delinquent.
Let's see here. And the reason that it's handled that way is once you've receipted that, then that money gets sent out to the different taxing entities. And so if if somebody brings in a $5 payment then if you were to receive that $5 payment, then you have to split it out into each piece. And so 25 cents would go here and
Right.
so
Yeah.
on. And that's kind of why it's held in an escrow until the full amount.
Yes. Yep.
What do you
Thoughts,
want to
comments,
do?
questions?
I don't really want to be people's banks, because I think that it becomes a liability holding on to payments and applying it to the correct parcel, which it's set up in MIPS pretty nicely. It's easy to follow. I don't have a problem doing it for undivided parcels. I don't want to be managing $20 here, $20 there.
Okay.
That's kind of my thought.
And have we been doing any of that in the past? Have we been doing anything other than undivided parcels?
We've only been doing undivided parcels.
So what we have in front of us is either accepting or not accepting. We could adjust those, I assume, to say, what her recommendation is.
Correct.
And go that way.
That's kind of where I'm at with it too. Them undivided parcels will be, I think that'd be a bigger mess if we said no
Right.
with those folks. I agree, partial payments and single parcels are.
And the single, the number of the undivided is significant. I mean, there are a number of undivided interest parcels in the county, but the number of single payments is really fairly small. I mean, you've had a request or two, but
Yes.
it's pretty
Pretty
slim.
low, yes. Usually it's people because they don't get along with their family
Sure.
members that it's just makes sense for them. And I think going forward too, I'd still like to make an agreement with that said party saying that, this is what you're paying, and because I
Sure.
also don't want to be figuring out, well, you own 30%, so let me calculate 30% for
Right.
you, so I think it still needs to go back onto the taxpayer to be responsible for that.
Right, correct. So if we look at the resolution that would be for accepting partial payments, there's a number 5, taxpayers making partial payments and the county shall enter into an escrow agreement as the condition of making partial payments. Interest will be paid at a rate of 14% on partial payment amounts.
14% is the rate
Yep.
on delinquent property.
Right,
tax.
and so that would be, that interest rate would be paid on the delinquent amount. Is that?
Yeah, so it actually, even though it's like a half payment that's late, it's actually figured on the full amount.
Okay,
And
yep.
it's 14% of that daily.
Right.
So it should probably state in there.
Yeah,
That it will occur at 14% on the delinquent. The way this is kind of read is that once it goes into the escrow, it's got a 14%.
Okay, yeah.
Is this
Right.
one that we wrote or is one you got from
Yes.
somewhere? You
And
gotta come
Megan
up with?
wrote
Yeah.
it. She had examples
Mhm.
of what other counties are doing, and we kind of created our own.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much what other counties state in their resolution. But we can definitely
Yeah.
change it
Make it
to
more,
delinquent.
That's the only time it would incur that.
Would
that
incur.
penalty.
right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
calculating.
the way, I mean, and county attorney we'll want him to take a look at it. He can correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I read this is we almost could be tied to saying, well, we paid you this, you owe us 14% interest on that amount that we put into that escrow account. The way it's reading right now.
Okay.
So I think we'll want to
Adjust that.
adjust that a little bit. And then when we talked yesterday, there was something else you wanted to strike.
I don't know.
The
if
total
Mary-
due,
Yeah, I don't know if Mary did that already, but on mine it shows that, or we would do the total due divided in 8 payments, but that's opening it up to
right. So,
everyone.
I mean, I think we're all
Yeah.
basically on the same agreement that we want to continue with the undivided ones, and we're fine not accepting the other.
Do we want to add verbiage on number one to stress the only multi-party undivided?
Undivided parcels, yeah, that's probably where that would go, for undivided parcels only.
So what is the wishes here? Do we want to make a motion today and have to come up with a resolution to do what we've said with undivided parcels? Or do we want to come up with a resolution, have the county attorney look it over, and then act on it next?
I think that'd be a good idea because, you know, as we look through it, you know, in number 4, it does talk about undivided.
Yep.
But it also talks about dividing them into
Right.
8 months. And I think that, you know, if you want to get with Gary, you know, or write something up and have him okay, it would be a good thing. And then at our next meeting,
Right.
Have a finished product in front of us.
Yeah.
If that sounds good to you.
Absolutely.
So I would look for a motion to instruct the county treasurer to craft a resolution with the county attorney for accepting undivided parcel of partial payments.
So moved.
Second.
All right. And then just for clarification, we'll bring this back up in front of the board so that we can all read it and accept it next meeting. Roll call, please. Well, is there any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Burgess,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Obermeyer,
Yes.
Gross.
Yes. All right, perfect. Thank you.
you.
Okay. Let's go ahead. We've got Alex here. So let's go ahead and do the Visitors Bureau items. So first up, we have discuss and act on intern for Visitors Bureau. So this, we did discuss this a little bit last time. And then I believe there was a Visitors Bureau board meeting following that
Yes.
Commissioner meeting. So we wanted this on here to discuss a little bit more and then take a full board action on whether or not to move forward with that intern for the Visitors Bureau. Is there anything anything from that board that you want to share, that board meeting you want to share with us?
My board is in support of hiring an intern, but I did prepare a statement for today. And so I'm going to read that.
Perfect.
I'm requesting approval to utilize an intern position within the York County Visitors Bureau to support marketing, communications, and administrative functions. While overall domestic travel in the United States remains strong, travelers are becoming more cost conscious and selective in how they spend. This shift places greater importance on targeted, relevant marketing that clearly communicates value. Communities like York County are well positioned due to affordability, but potential visitors must be able to easily see and understand what we offer. The York County Visitors Bureau has invested in data and analytics tools that allow us to better understand our target markets, who they are, where they're from, and what motivates their travel decisions. However, this information is only effective if we are able to translate it into messaging that resonates with those audiences. Today's travelers expect destinations to speak to them in their own language through tailored content, relevant imagery, and consistent digital presence. Other small communities similar to York County, such as Abilene, Kansas, have experienced increased interest in visitation as a result of consistent, high-quality marketing efforts. In many cases, professional photos and well-told local stories are picked up by regional and national publications, extending the reach far beyond paid advertising. This type of visibility is achievable for York County, but requires dedicated time and consistent content creation. Developing and maintaining this level of targeted content across social media, website updates, visitor communication, and event promotion is time intensive and cannot be accomplished effectively without help. An intern would assist with this. This position is a cost-effective solution that fits within the approved budget from July and does not require an increase in the long-term staffing. Utilizing an intern allows the county to maximize the return on tools and resources already invested in while increasing York County's visibility during a time when travelers are more selective. After completing an internship, participants often continue to serve as informal ambassadors for our community, carrying positive experiences, professional connections, and familiarity with York County and their future careers and networks. Overall, the intern position is a fiscally responsible investment that enhances the Visitors Bureau's ability to promote York County effectively, support local businesses and events, and deliver measurable value to the community. So a couple things. Our lodging taxes we're at about a $6,000 increase from last year at this time. And so we are seeing some growth in that area. And this intern would work 15 to 20 hours maximum a week, with the pay scale set at $18 to $20 an hour. Yeah, do you have any questions?
Perfect.
Mr. Chair, to clarify, this was an agenda item on that visitor report back in December. It was
Okay.
not an agenda item
Okay.
after our last meeting. I did stick around and visit with Sally and Alex just a little bit
Sure.
about the intent and the fact that it would be somebody that would just do, obviously we're in a shared office over there with YCDC and the chamber and different things, but this intern would just do visitor bureau stuff.
Sure.
Absolutely.
The other thing that adds to the comment is that there has been other interns with other members of that group
Yes.
that have utilized York University, former York College, and all those have been positive experiences. Where those people have, in some cases, even hung around and York and made York their new home. So I think that what she's asking and what we talked about then was, try it. If it doesn't work, if we don't like it for some reason, then we're not tied into it because it's kind of run a semester at a time.
Yes.
Might carry over a little bit into the summertime, but it's run a semester at a time and see how it goes, type of deal. Those funds do have, just so you know, from the report last time, the promotional fund had 340,000 in it, and I got those backwards, I believe. Promotion's got 166, the visitor improvement fund's got 340. So those funds, as Alex has stated, has continued to generate funds and will continue to do more with the addition of the 2 motels this year. So those funds won't be in jeopardy of going the wrong way.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, and since we have an increase coming in hotel rooms, that just opens up the door for more potential visitors to come. We just have to get to them.
Sure.
Mhm.
I guess, Alex,
Yeah.
I like it in theory.
Mhm.
Having worked with interns most of my career, continuity from intern to intern, especially on marketing projects, is kind of where I come into issues with this.
Oh, absolutely.
My fear is we're going to spend money on personnel, and you're going to spend the first half of every internship trying to retrain a new intern and get them realigned with what the previous intern was doing.
Mhm.
Personally, money spent with ad campaigns or marketing third-party companies would be probably, in my opinion, money better spent.
Mhm.
I don't feel that you're going to get the next step you want out of an intern that's here for a semester at a time.
So the only issue with going with a third-party marketing agency is that they are not a part of our community. So they're not going to our events and taking those high-quality images that we can use in advertising campaigns that resonate with our visitors. They're not here to write our story. And also having somebody else here, we can strengthen our relationships with our hotels, make sure they know what's going on, making sure that their marketing efforts are lining up with events that we might have in the community. There are a lot more things that we can use this intern for than just marketing. We also do have a branding guide in the way that we write, the way that we take pictures, what our brand fonts are and all of that stuff. So that guide is already written up.
That's kind of to my point of you're gonna have to retrain that every semester. So I still struggle with the mileage you're gonna get out of an intern.
Okay.
We are at 9 o'clock, which we have a public hearing. I wasn't watching that quite close enough. But if you don't mind stepping back, we'll run through the hearing and then we'll get you back up here and
Absolutely.
finish that.
Thank you.
So at this time, it is 9:01, and we have a hold public hearing on the 1 and 6 year road and bridge program. So we will open that public hearing up. If Greg and Ashley, if you want to come give a quick summary of what we've got, and then we'll take public comment.
Majority of our 1 year plan came from moving up from the 6 year. We did add a couple of things, a couple of roads that we want to rebuild that are getting technically inverted, where the center of the road's lower than the outside and causing potholes and issues during rain. So
There was just one that was not on the 6
Yeah.
that we added to the one.
yeah, so I don't know. Do we want to list out which ones we
Not
have on there?
necessarily.
Okay. Okay.
And then we added at the end of our 6 year, we added a couple.
And of course, this is just things that we need to do earlier in the 6 year. We'll bump them up, but
I think one thing to note too, on this plan, these are bigger projects, replacing culverts, things of that nature fall under these guidelines, more to a general maintenance and not something that we typically stick on this plan. So like culvert, South Bradshaw, that's
Yes.
what we talked about it from a monetary standpoint, didn't meet the criteria to stick on this plan, although it is on the list of things to address.
yeah, there's several maintenance things going on the side of this. These are just the major projects that we figured should be addressed.
And we look at all the projects and determine how many we can hopefully get done in 1 year.
Sure.
And we don't want to, we want to meet our goal.
Yeah.
Okay. At this time, we'll open it up for any public comment on the 1 and 6 plan that has been published out there for the public to see. You're fine.
Stay here. Willard, do you want to come with?
Take my chair if you want.
You stay there. I don't want to.
Okay.
Willard Peterson, 514, I'm supposed to do this again, right?
Go ahead.
Go through
You do?
my
Yes,
address.
indeed. Yeah.
Smile.
All of it.
Smile, you got it. Willard Peterson, 514 Road 13. My address is York. I'm a proud resident of the Bradshaw area. Remember, I don't live in town, but I live almost in town. Even if I live 4 miles out, I'd still be from Bradshaw. And that's where I prefer to be referred to. But the post office don't see it that way. Not like them. So anyway, my main comments about this is just so that all of you are aware, and I know you are, and especially these fine roads department people are aware that you put this out when you start working on one of these projects, somebody ain't gonna like it, and you're not doing it right, period. It's just the way it is, and you know it, except for me. I don't do that sometimes. Anyway, also, I want to know, I'm going to brag a little. I'm kind of I don't know what you want to call it, an ambassador. I've been in on a couple other meetings where some other entities are doing this 1 and 6 year stuff. And there's been people at those meetings saying, well, you know, how come this one's 6 years and how much this, how come this one 1 year and blah, blah, blah. In other words, nobody gets what this thing really is. When it says 1 and 6, that's simply a suggestion. It's an idea. Doesn't mean, and the way I understand it, doesn't mean something from the 6 can't get put up on the 1 while you're doing it. Doesn't mean that some from the 1 might get put back to a 6 or even farther. Because I have a specific mile or half-mile road in mind that's very, very close to me. I had no issue with that road. Wasn't sure why you were doing it in the first place, but it was on the 1 year plan for 6 years. And it never got done. And then all of a sudden, the 7th or 8th year, it got done. Again, I have no issues with it. You know, it got redone. Okay, so it got redone. In my opinion, that's all it was got done. Nothing wrong with it before, I didn't think. Except in this case, a whole lot of people are really happy because you were able to put in a whole lot of access to some fields there, more than you would have, simply because it took no extra effort on your part. And so anyway, I just want everybody to be aware, somebody ain't gonna like this. I want roads to drive on. I like nice roads. I can put up with a bump or two once in a while because I kind of know where a lot of that comes from. And I don't care how good a maintainer driver you are, I don't care whatever, you can't keep every piece of road exactly perfect all the time. Because remember, we're in the modern age of machinery, size of machinery, and you're trying to maintain basically a dirt road. Don't work. And it won't work until you spend way more money than anybody should fixing those roads the right way. That means resurfacing them for a 100-year resurfacing, and that's not going to happen. But it could. So that's and I've like I said, I've talked to quite a few people about misunderstandings about what a 1 and 6 year road plan really is.
Thanks, Willard. Anyone else from the public? We'll go ahead and close the public comment close the public hearing. We had a little bit of discussion there, but any other questions for Greg or Ashley on the 1 and 6 in front of us?
It looks like an achievable list, you know,
I hope
obviously,
so.
with just the
Weather depending, of course.
well, and I understand that part of it. You know, I know I talked to the previous about possibly adding something to this. I know he was always hesitant to do it. I always kind of wanted an estimated time. If we can, in my mind, if we can put up, and we had those conversations, not in public, but to the side, if we can put up an estimated cost, you know, just, I always kind of wanted an estimated time on projects, just to get an idea, because we're good at, I mean, some people don't think we are, but we're good at what we do. And we know what it takes to deal with a road and culverts and stuff like that. So going into the future, I mean, I would like to see that too, just a estimated time that we think that, you know, the road 12 between G and H, what it would take, you know, it just from my own knowledge. I understand the weather, you know, but, you know, over the last few years, we've had pretty good construction weather from April through October. You know, we just really haven't been inundated like it seemed like we used to be.
Right.
But it looks to me like that list should be.
Are you looking like for man-hour time
Yeah,
or
just time of probably
calendar
3
period?
weeks, yeah, 3
Okay.
weeks or something like that, you know, that we would be looking at, you know. Obviously, understand that snows or if it rains, we can't help that.
Sure.
Those projects can, but it was always kind of in my mind, like I say, if we can come up with an estimate on dollars, we can come up with the other one too.
Right.
Would you
And not
like that? Would you
ahead.
like to just see that for the 1 year or?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's no reason to go
Okay,
into the 6 year,
okay.
because I understand, when we start going down the 6 year, we start getting into our bigger ones where we're working with bridges and stuff like that. We know we're probably not gonna do it unless there's something really bad happen, until our bond's paid off again. And then I would assume that we'll get going on those, and there's obviously other things that are gonna come up, out of the blue. They do every year. I don't know why they would this year also. Equipment failures, I mean, how do you deal with all that? But if everything was perfect, if everything
Yeah.
just worked the way it should,
Yeah.
what would it be? Would it be 3 weeks of the one down on Road 12? Just stuff like that.
Sure.
I know that he was always hesitant to give that type of information because of weather. I get
There's a lot of variables in it.
I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's one thing we did talk extensively about over the last, before we were putting this together, as we were putting this together, even with previous administration, is we've got to become more transparent as to when we're working on these projects, what the next step is, just to stay ahead of the community as to what they can expect. Whether it's the old time variable at this time, for them to give you a calendar date, I would be hesitant to say that because we hit a 2019 storm again. This whole thing goes completely out the window and
Right.
we restart. So as we get into these projects, I guess my expectation that we've discussed, and Daniel can add more to it if he wants, but is to talk about these projects as we're progressing through this 1 year plan, and then hopefully we can pull up a couple 6 year plans maybe into this 1 year. So
Yeah, and I'm not asking for,
yeah,
C93 starts May 1.
right.
All I'm asking for is whenever it starts,
Yeah.
what do we think the estimated time?
We hope to be done in a month type of thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
And
That's all I'm asking.
And what I'm saying is we're actually hoping to take a little bit of a next step to that is once we get into that construction season, okay, weather holds, we'll be done with C93 today
Perfect.
by moving forward, just so we can, so there's a lot of traffic on these roads anymore with seed corn companies and all the different stuff, just more communication, more transparency as the year rolls out. So.
Just believe it or not, on C93, we obviously already did some work down in that on 12.
That's just finishing that up.
Yes.
There's
Yeah,
probably,
1/8 of a mile.
yeah,
And there was a conversation had about how good of a job we did. And it almost, I mean, it wasn't a complaint, but it was almost to the point of, I can't believe you built that road up that much, type of a deal. It's like, well,
Yeah.
it sounds like you're complaining we did too good of a job, and I think part of the problem was a little bit concerned about the ditch and mowing the ditch and
Yeah.
going back afterwards for the landowner of what he's gonna have to anticipate too. But, no, I drove down there and I mean, it looks fine.
The goal is to get it to last for 20 years anyway. Yeah. So,
Good luck.
Daniel, I do have
Yes,
a
go
clarification
right ahead.
question. I just want to not make an assumption. This is internal work, so we have staff that do these jobs or
correct.
bid out for another company to come in. So these costs are for the supplies and the tools that it needs to get the job done and the labor, I suppose.
Labor.
When it does come to our bridge projects, though, we do contract that out.
Okay.
And overlays and the bigger stuff.
That's
The
So,
majority of like plain ditches and rock and stuff like that is all internal.
Just didn't want to assume.
Yep.
Yep. No problem.
Yep.
Thank you.
And Daniel and I did have a conversation yesterday too, and I know this year's a different year. In years past, we used to get this packet and then we would look at it for maybe a month and then we'd have the public hearing. Contrary to popular belief, I do get out in the country. I do drive the roads in the country and I do, spend a Sunday or so going out and look at these projects. I don't plan on holding this up today by any means, but because I do think it's a good idea for all of us to get out there and look. and exactly where these are and what we're talking about. So, I mean, that would be another thing for the future is if we could, you give us the time to review and go out and drive around and look at it before we approve it. You know,
Okay.
like I say, I personally know these areas pretty well, and you know, it sounds like a great idea. So I think going ahead, you know, like I say, on 9, it's hard for me to imagine we're just picking just 2 miles. You know, because 9 is such a traveled road and it needs so much work. It, like you said, it's inverted so bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can only do so much too.
Yeah, it
And
sounds
that's
like,
kind of like 9's a great example of, we know we've got a big problem with that road. I'm gonna say all the way from the highway to Henderson Blacktop.
Sure.
So that's the plan, is to see a couple miles every year,
Sure.
just so we're not spending all of our time in one area too. There's no way we can fix that road in 1 year and not completely overturn the apple cart with travel and everything else too.
Yeah.
And we get our fair share of the calls. How long is this gonna take? I have to go 4 miles out of my way. We're doing the best we can.
And that seemed to go real good with that Road 12. I had close communication with them. Well, what's the next step? The people that live there
Right.
and the farmer you're referring to, yeah. So my phone's always on.
I hear that.
Mhm.
Looks good.
okay.
So
So
to approve the 1 and 6 plan for the roads department.
perfect.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion regarding the 1 and 6 road and bridge program? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes.
Groves.
Yes. All right. All right, we are getting right close to our next public hearing at 9:20 for a conditional use permit. Nate, you want to come up and give a quick summary of what it is that is before us, and then we'll hold that public hearing.
Nathan Hines, zoning administrator, sent out, thanks for Dana for reminding me of it last week, I sent out to you guys basically the map and the applications. The blenders are applying to put a second house in the same quarter. This is very similar to the prior ones you guys have seen. The plan is to destroy the old one when the new one's built and livable, but technically that's 2 houses in the same quarter. Zoning board met 2 weeks ago today. Recommended approval unanimously to you guys with the condition that 1 year after it being livable, and they determine that as basically once they're moved in and actually like staying and sleeping in that new house, that the old house would be removed, whether that be destroyed, taken off the property, whatever. But that's what they recommended to you guys. Everything else on the zoning side is completely fine. No issues with any of these setbacks, floodplain, anything. It's just down to you guys what condition you may or may not want to put on it at this point. Hopefully that summarizes it. But if you have any
Perfect.
questions, I'm happy to answer
Okay.
them.
Very good. We will hold a public hearing regarding a conditional use permit for a second house in the same quarter. And we will open that public hearing up at 9:20. Anyone from the public that would like to speak regarding this conditional use permit may come forward at this time.
I was just, Willard Peterson, 514 Road 13. My address is York. I'm from a proud resident of the Bradshaw area. And please, when you talk to me, don't talk to me about being from York. I'm from Bradshaw. Anyway, okay, I was just sitting there thinking about this, and I was at the zoning commission meeting when the blenders were putting forth this project, which I'm always for and still am. But I just thought and I get where this whole deal of only one house on a quarter and all that, and And I think that was all decided a whole long time ago, but it could be changed. Everything can be changed. And I guess my thought process is you guys every year scrounge around, you hope to heck that the value of York County goes up. Let's see, why is that? Oh yeah, more property taxes. So if I'm just using the blenders because they happen to be here, or happen to be up in front of us, but there's been a lot of other times that people have come in to ask to do the same thing. So they got this house, whether it's a piece of junk or they just want a new one, whatever, don't matter. But if they chose to keep that house right beside their other one and they didn't mind, and they could rent that out and make a little money, and also then it would be a taxable piece of property. So it's a way for you guys to make more property taxes and more money for the county. Just a thought.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public?
I'm sorry, I didn't mention this. Ms. Blender is here if you have a question for her.
Perfect. All right, seeing no one else get up, we will close the public hearing. Ms. Splender, if you want to come up and give us any thoughts, or if anybody from the board wants to ask any questions.
Thank you for this hearing today. I appreciate this gentleman's comments, but the house will be torn down. It is way past its prime. So.
Very good. Any questions?
Not of Mrs. Blender, just of Nate when we get him back.
Okay, very good, very good. Yep. And you can stay or you can step back, whichever,
Okay.
it doesn't matter. And we'll take action here momentarily.
Nate, when we have these and we consider the recommendation in front of us from the zoning committee, how do we police that? I mean, does that fall on your shoulders? I mean, you know, if we say a year, how do we police that?
Generally, my understanding is, yeah, it fall on my shoulders to either follow up with them in that time frame within the year of whether, you know, keep in touch, see where we're at, or actually physically go out and check on it. But yeah, my understanding is it'd be just me.
Could we put that on the homeowner to just give us proof by pictures or stuff like that?
I don't know why you could.
Just to say it needs to be on their shoulders, you know, we're giving you permission to do this, send us a picture and then we know it's gone.
Yeah, I don't know why we couldn't.
Okay.
So if you guys want to add something like that, it should be fine.
All right, thanks, Dan.
Yeah, no, might be a little nice, frankly, if you don't
Well, I
mind.
think you still probably should go out there.
Oh, for
Some
sure.
point
I
in
just,
time
I
between
appreciate your, appreciate
in, in the Polk County Courthouse,
You can't
but
Photoshop it out.
Exactly.
We already have talked to somebody about getting the house out, you know, and so, like I said, as soon as we're moved into our house and it's livable, like we've passed inspections and everything, then we will have somebody come out and they're able to get the house out. And because we're wanting to do other projects in that area, but we can't do that until the house is gone. And so, like I said, we are in the process, but, you know, like I said, all we've done is remove some trees because we have trees that have not been removed we've been married over 30 years and it's been longer than that. So like I said, a lot of projects are happening on the property, so to improve the status of it, so.
Excellent.
and I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, it's long overdue.
All right, do we have thoughts on action for
Make a
this?
motion to approve zoning board's recommendation.
But if you don't mind, Andy, if you don't care for the verbiage, let me know, but their recommendation with the homeowners providing proof to us that the house is gone, and then they can do that. Kind of puts it a little bit on them too. So that's where I was going at with that, is because I think sometimes it may fall in the cracks and we forget over a year, but if they know they got to provide it, then I'm sure Mrs. Blender will provide that information tonight.
Yeah, we'll add that verbiage as well.
I will second that. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Got that?
Yeah,
Okay.
zoning recommendation and to provide provide proof.
I guess one comment, since we're adding this now in the future, let's make sure
Old house renovation.
zoning board adds that to the recommendation, because I know there's a number of properties out there where it hasn't happened.
Right.
I mean, I'm dealing with one right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, we give them a time frame and it falls through the cracks. We don't have a zoning police. Nate,
I'll get a badge.
one of his hats.
Yeah, we got lights on.
I'd love to read some lights and badge. Be great.
All right, so we have a motion and a second for approval of the conditional use permit. We've had some discussion. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
and Gross.
Yes. All right, very good.
Congratulations.
All right, have you popped back up? Sorry about that.
No problem.
So back to talking about the intern for Visitors Bureau. I did talk to Alex yesterday, shared some of my concerns, just to kind of talk through. I did have received some public questions that were directed to me as to whether or not this is necessary and whether, how this would help to drive tourism in York County. I thank you for your statement this morning. That helped to kind of share what your vision is for this position. I do have a few reservations like Mr. Bowman. The one thing that I wondered about is if this would be more of a seasonal position. I don't know how, like in working with the college, have you done any exploratory work with them as far as what like timing, whether it be like there was some discussion about semesters, or if there'd be availability in the summertime for an intern or something like that. Have you talked to anybody out there?
I have talked to the person in charge of assigning interns, and he said you are more likely to get someone to stay during the summer if you hire them at the beginning of the semester. So, yeah. And then also to just break down the cost of this, we get an average of $20,000 every month into our improvement fund. So 1 month would cover the cost of an intern for the whole year.
I guess one other comment I received, and it really resonated with me, is I mean, I love our partnerships with York University, don't get me wrong. I think they're a great part of our community, and I love working with them. One thing I hear a lot from people in my area is how do we keep our own kids that we're raising in the community come back. So I guess through this internship program, are we going to work exclusively with York University, or are we going to reach out to some of our local kids that are going to Heartland or York or Cross County, those schools, as they transition to college? Are we going to look to hire them as this intern? I mean, you talk about wanting to make sure we're telling our story. Well, we better tell our story than someone that was born in York General Hospital or Henderson Hospital or just in that area in general.
I think that that's an absolutely great idea. I went with York University. It was just the first avenue that I kind of went down. Typically, when I think about internships, I think about college level. But I think it would be awesome to have a younger voice in there who has grown up, lived here, and seen that through.
At least let them know that it's a position, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Because,
sure.
yeah, sometimes there's jobs people just don't know about, so. I would agree with Andy a little bit on I know a lot of internships do struggle with the spending the first half or even more than that on the training. However, for something like doing social media marketing and taking pictures and stuff, I don't know if that's as much of the case. Like, I think you could be getting pretty good work out of them very early on in the internship, so.
Yeah, I guess with that, brand standards.
Yeah.
I'm sure something that gets harped on at college about
You're right.
in marketing is that's a number one importance is brand standards, and basically in essence, what you're looking at is community standards and how do we make sure those are 100% seen the whole way through our marketing plan for our county. So that's I've worked with a lot of interns. I love working with interns because the ideas you get from interns sometimes are crazy and sometimes they're awesome.
Yeah.
So but that's my reservations, just the continuity. And to me, I think you've done a great job of walking into your role and creating this new brand standard of your county and what you're trying to bring. And I don't want to see your talents tied up in training where you end up doing 2/3 to 3/4 of the work anyways. You're getting some great photos that maybe we could ask some of our journalist people in the county that are already here to help us amplify those. So I don't know. I struggle with an intern for trying to accomplish what you're going after. I think what you're going after is great and perfect. I think 100% in line with your vision, just not in line with how you're wanting to go about achieving it, I guess.
Do you have any suggestions of other avenues that I could visit, research for someone part-time for this?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of freelance photographers in the area that, hey, maybe it's a pay by picture type of thing. I know there's a lot of photography experts that you can go to. Off the top of my head, I'm striking out. I use a ton of different ones in the livestock side of it that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
I just, Ken Cush is one that comes to mind. He loves going to games, take a camera, and will pay you a little bit of money. Mel, she's fairly busy. Partnership with the Enterprises, New York News Times for photography, just things of those nature. Because I think end of the day, outside of the photography piece, because I could really see how that's time consuming.
Yes.
But the rest of it is the pieces I think that you're going to end up handling 3/4 or more of it anyways.
Okay.
And I know there's some great photography people in Henderson area as well.
Okay. I appreciate your comments. Thank you.
I think what's nice about this conversation is being on this board for as long as I've been on it. Sometimes I think that the Visitors Bureau is somewhat obscure, that people really don't know we're even there. But it sounds like the comments, I haven't had any myself from anybody, but the comments you guys, people are paying attention to the Visitors Bureau, which is good. I mean, that's what we're supposed to be doing. I still like the idea and I still think that we try it and see, and then if you truly find out that it is taking way too much of your time and you're not getting your other stuff done, then it's easily abandoned. They're not a full-time employee that we have to jump through the hoops to get rid of. We know they're a temporary or an interim employee that would work or maybe not work. But I think it's one of those things where you give it a try and see if it's going to work, and you go with it. So I know that she's brought that office quite a ways from where we were at.
In the last year and a half, it's really been a game of catch up. We are kind of a lot further behind than a lot of counties our size. In terms of partnerships with counties around us, that is where I really see us going in the future, coming together to get people to our region. Clearly, in the counties around us, we have the most lodging available. So having plans together where we can say, hey, there's this thing going on here, but later that night there's something going on in York. So getting those people to stay in our getting people to stay in our communities longer, and really experiencing what this section of Nebraska has to offer, I think is really where we're going. And we just have to make it visible.
Thoughts? Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, have you thought of other, I mean, if marketing is, you know, the difficult one to keep training. But I mean, I know I had a convention that helps a lot.
Yeah.
You know, so when those activities are happening, isn't that something an intern could do?
Oh,
Is, you know,
absolutely.
the stuffing of bags and preparing all the documents that you hand out and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, we do have a lot of other administration tasks that go on in the office, stuffing bags, taking stuff out to hotels, coordinating conference name tags. There are quite a lot of little things that add up pretty quickly. So if that marketing side ends up not working out, or we're not happy with that quality of work, there is other tasks, I think, lower level, a little bit lower level tasks that could be passed down to that person as well.
I would probably feel more comfortable with it if we truly designated it as a temporary, that let's try this, and then, you know, we go through a semester, maybe that bleeds into a summer, you know, they stick around for the summer, but then, you know, coming back forward saying, hey, you know, this really worked, this is what we see, let's keep this going, or, you know, it was a good trial, but I actually didn't see what I thought I was going to, I don't need them anymore. You know, I probably would be a little bit more on board if this was truly a temporary trial intern rather than just starting the project. But that's just me.
How would you feel about like me coming with a quarterly report about this is what we were able to achieve, this is what this person has produced for us?
Sure. Yep. Yeah, I think any information feeding back to us is good.
Okay.
So are you looking for, more of a time frame than Daniel?
I could be on board if we said, you know, let's go ahead and move forward with an intern. You know, I assume you're ready to start one this semester now, and even if that individual stayed on through the summer, you know, and then prior budget time there, we're getting into summertime, say, okay, let's look at this again. Is this something we want to continue?
So you're gonna look at it for one semester.
Right,
Summer.
yeah.
Well, I would say that up to fall semester of 2026.
Summer.
And then re-look at it in the fall. semester of
Yeah, like
2026.
yeah.
Revote on it in August.
Rediscuss.
Rediscuss in August.
Because our summers get crazy.
Right.
Okay, I heard September, then I heard August. What are we doing?
Well, I think there's a
There
motion.
hasn't been a motion yet.
Yeah.
I make the motion to do a trial run with a Visitors Bureau intern, starting now with an internship availability running through September 1st. In the motion, I would also like to revisit the continuation of the internship program in an August meeting of the Board of Commissioners with a report at that time provided by Alex with effect and impact of the position.
I would second that.
Beautiful.
She's still right.
She is.
Oh, I'm done.
Thoughts or discussion? Okay, roll call.
Bowman,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Robertson.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Alex,
Thank you guys so much.
back to the photography thing, I think that's probably a bigger animal, and even with an intern can help you out with, I would reach out to as many people as you can.
Will do.
Maybe you can call the village board, see who they've got in the community, and maybe just get a person from each community and a couple of York that can help you out there with that.
Perfect. And just having an intern to organize that stuff.
Correct.
There you go.
That's a big one.
All right, so we'll move right on down and leave you in the hot seat.
All right.
Discuss an act on adopting resolution to reappoint Lonnie Berger and Jeff Stoy to the York County Visitors Bureau Board for a 4-year term.
Absolutely. So Lonnie's term was up the 1st of February. He has been a member of our board for at least the last 4 years. He gives a wonderful perspective into our community as a longstanding member of the York area and with running the mission. His feedback is invaluable, structured, and a very great asset to our board. Our board unanimously voted for approval or recommendation of approval for the next 4 years for him to be on our board.
And that was Lonnie, correct?
Lonnie.
And then Jeff is also
Yes,
on that? Okay.
Jeff's term ends March 9th. So we thought we would just get them both out of the way. And he gives a very technological viewpoint of to our board. He used to be an IT professional. He runs the Double Nickel Campground in Waco. So he is one of those 2 lodging facility members that sits on our board. He comes with, I will come with a crazy idea or he will, and those kind of just build on each other. And with the input of the other board into those, we have seen he's an invaluable asset to our board. And so he has also been unanimously approved for the next 4 years.
Perfect. There, some of these boards do have a term limit, but yours does not.
No, it
correct?
does not.
Perfect. Okay.
I think the only is that we have 2 from lodging properties.
Yes.
And we currently, Jeff is one, and then our new Mr. Schmidt.
Yep. Craig Schmidt.
And Jeff she's understating what he brings to the board.
Yes.
I mean, he starts talking about IT and he just will be talking in German because it's gone. But I don't know if anybody really knows Jeff, he runs that Double Nickel 7 days a week.
Okay. Yep.
From sometime in April till November, and then in November he shuts down, he takes off. And so when he zooms in, we really don't know where I think last time he was Florida.
Yeah.
And he just goes down south and they homeschool, they take their kids but he doesn't miss a meeting either.
Mhm.
And so he's pretty neat guy.
Yeah.
So, and of course Lonnie is Lonnie.
You're right. Yep.
He's a staple of community for
Exactly.
a long time.
For sure.
So,
Very good. So yeah, we have a resolution, terms for Lonnie would run through January 31 of 2030, and for Jeff through March 1, 2030. So
make a motion to adopt a resolution to appoint the 2 gentlemen, Mr. Berger and Mr. Stoy, to the Visitors Bureau at the terms that the chairman just announced.
Second.
thank you. Any discussion? Roll call.
Obermeyer.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Robertson.
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Groves.
Yes. All right.
Thank you
Excellent.
so
Thank
much.
Thanks, Alex.
All right, next up, we have discuss an act on snow removal and maintenance agreement between City of York and County. So this was an agreement that has been, we've had this agreement with the city and the county in the past due to some annexations and some changes. We sat down with James Paul and went over it, figured out which pieces needed to be removed from that agreement. We did add a piece, which is a gravel road in front of Aurora Co-op out here, Road L, in front of them over to 25th Street. It is a city-owned road, but it only makes sense for the county maintainer to take care of that. So that was added on here. And then the other pieces are county solid surface roads that come out of York, that it really just makes sense for the city to plow those roads of snow. Otherwise, they're turning around in the middle of the road, and so it just makes sense to enter into this agreement. So if there's any questions regarding that agreement?
In rewriting this agreement, we did find that we have been overpaying them due to some annexation changes over the past couple of years, so I believe, have they sent us our reimbursement, Ashley?
They were supposed to send the check out yesterday.
Okay, so we'll be getting a small reimbursement from the city.
I would look for a motion on action on the agreement.
Move to approve the snow removal and maintenance surface agreement between the city of York and York County, and approve the chairman to sign.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Obermeyer,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Groves.
Yes. All right. We are moving right along. Let's discuss and act on committee assignments for 2026. So I think the 2025 assignments were uploaded. I did hand out a suggested 2026, mainly just put Deb on places where Mr. Ott was. I did ask Andy to join me on the landfill board. Let's see here. Safety and security, we had some changes there. I did talk to Greg to see if he would join that committee.
Yeah, I guess
For the
maybe
road.
one thing on that committee is, like, sheriff, a lot of times Josh sits in his
Okay.
place for him.
Yep.
Nick, a lot of times will send the secretary at times if he can't be there,
Sure.
so.
If both of those offices are represented, I think that's fine, unless you would rather, I mean, we can take Nick's name off and put,
I think when he can be there, it's great.
Okay. Sure.
We never have a full board. It's impossible to get.
Right, yep. And I believe Cheryl was gonna jump on that board.
Yeah, I did ask Cheryl after our reorganization meeting we had, when was that? June, to be there, so we have some HR insight.
Sure. Deb, from your perspective, any comments or questions?
Not really, other than when these groups meet. which I
Sure,
assume
yep.
will come.
We'll get those,
appointed.
yeah, we'll get those to you. So yeah, just for reference, having Deb take on the Region 5 and a PACE assignment there, as well as then joining the York County Aging Services Board, the Veterans Board, and she was willing to take on the York Community Leadership Update on first Thursdays. And then the Legislative Committee, it's been one that's been on here. It doesn't get a whole lot of traction, but she said she watches that, so she report anything that needed from there. Randy, did you have any thoughts on, you had mentioned the possibility if there was somebody that wanted to take on Four Corners?
It was one, little history lesson here. Obviously, me and Jack switched. Mr. Sykes switched at one time. He took visitors, I took Four Corners. And then Joe, when you came on last year, we were still in the midst of a construction project at Four Corners and felt like, I had the knowledge of the construction and wanted to stay on there. So I kept that one under my umbrella, but it's to the point now where things are going up there. There may be, something coming with this money that's coming down from the big beautiful bill, that's coming into rural. And so there may be some new learning curve up there, but that would be one that on my plate, that if it went away, fine. If it didn't, it meets quarterly in the evenings at 6:30, up at the Four Corners, spot up there up across from the hospital.
Is it, which day of the week is it?
Mondays. Well, usually they send out a survey to see what day of the week you want, and then it just goes with the major. A lot of times it does fall on a Monday. It's sometime in February. I'd have to look at the calendar when it hits exactly.
I can do most evenings.
Like I say, 6:30, typically it's 6:30.
This semester is different because I have a seminar thing or whatever, but it's fine because if it's only quarterly, I can make those, because I can miss a couple of those. It's just a discussion class anyway. So.
And the reason it's 6:30 is because, we have people from Butler County, people from Polk County, people from Seward County all coming this way. And it'd be a couple-hour meeting.
Yeah.
And by the time they get home, if it was any later, it puts them home pretty late. So that's why.
Yeah, I can do evenings. It's harder to, at 9:30 in the morning was when I have class. So that's when my big block is or whatever. So.
And that is one that we need to act, obviously, on this, because to be a voting member of that board, they need to have approval of this board. To be
Same thing for.
Whereas the other ones, we just kind of sit on them.
Right.
And they're part of it, but that one has to be, because
That's not
Four
Blue
Corners.
Blue Valley
Blue
runs.
Valley is the same.
Yep.
Is Region 5 going to taste the same way too, though?
I would guess
I
so.
think, and they've been asking, haven't they, who our member is?
I told them that we would decide today and I would let them know after the meeting.
Yep.
Because they do have a meeting coming up. as well.
Probably, or monthly, they meet monthly, right?
Are
So,
you willing and or wanting to take on Four Corners?
Yeah, I can do that.
thank you.
That'd be fine.
Okay. Any other thoughts or comments, questions on committee assignments? If not, I would look for a motion to move forward with the 2026 committee assignments.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Perfect. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Obermeyer,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
and Gross.
Yes. All right. So that now takes us to committee reports. Who would like to dive in?
Emergency manager, I believe we do have a signed agreement for the interim with Fillmore County. Gene Engel, you did sign it.
I did.
I should say, I don't know if you talked about it after it was done. So we have that signed and good to go. Gene is currently in Tacoma, Washington at a class for a week. But she is gonna do it on a brief basis, hopefully. We had, last week alone, we had 15 different applications for that job. They were from across the country, and 2 of them possibly will get a phone interview with Zell here directly, and then they'll hand them down from there. So hopefully that is somewhat short term. We do have some fairly local interest in it. I believe one was for Beatrice, one was from Gresham. But then we had, Utah, Colorado, and so I think they grabbed that off of Indeed. And although there was one from Texas that said they had Midwest roots and wanted to get back to the Midwest. So we'll see how those all pan out. So that's what's happening with the emergency manager. Visitors, obviously, we talked a little bit about that. We had a couple of promotional grants, one for the Anna Bemis Palmer Museum. They're really trying to get going and ramped up and needing some advertising money. And then the other one was the second annual adult prom that's held here in York. Once again, some advertising money to get that going. We do have a conversation that started after the 911 call center meeting, and it is an agreement that we have with the city to provide ambulance services. And the city has some concerns with the way that the agreement is written. And it has been since 2019 that we looked at it. It also talks about doing all the transfers for the hospitals in our county. And both of our hospitals are, they're not county, like some counties have got the hospitals, they're not, they're private. And so I did have a conversation with Jim Ulrich at the York General saying we were gonna start talking about this, but really our agreement is with the city. And I think years ago, when this originally started, late 80s, the county had the ambulance service, they were doing all that. So then it was just written into there, and we need to look into how many transfers are actually, and do they just do something with their own agreement with the city and leave the county out of it. Continue our agreement, which is, the tax, the parcels in this county that do not already pay a tax to a fire district or it has an ambulance service pays them, and then the city takes care of that for us. So that is something I think we're going to be looking at as we go forward. Legislature, NACO is spent 2 Fridays now getting up to date on whether they oppose or whether they are neutral or whether they are in support of bills. We do not have that paperwork yet in front of us. One of them that has got some spotlight, at least as far as our county is concerned, is LB 1204, which has state regulations on, it was introduced by Senator Klaus out of Kearney, has state regulations on setbacks for renewable energy. NACO did take a position last week to oppose LB 1204, which I figured they would because it cuts into the authority that the counties have. So, but John, I was in contact with John, and he said they will be getting us everything in such a short session. I don't know that there's going to be a lot really get accomplished there, but we will have those, and we can still sign up for Friday. They're at noon on Friday. They have a legislative report that we can Zoom through NACO. And that would be getting a hold of them down there to get set up on that. So it is something to pay attention to. I think we probably, now that we're whole again, we probably should start looking into our own, although the way that bill is written, it would supersede anything we would do. But if you've looked at them, I don't think they would make people happy in this county. So it's probably time again to open that book back up. So that's everything I had over the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
I haven't been to any meetings. I plan to go to the community leadership Zoom session or Facebook Live session on this week. And I will share that we have an interim emergency manager person. And anything else you'd like me to share, I'll be happy to share.
Great. Yep.
At Blue Valley right after the last meeting, actually, our last board meeting. January Zoom meeting, usually pretty dry, but grant application revisals and a couple resolutions for like small little budget revision things. Heard a lot about the services with the youth director and all that stuff. So child services, I should say. I don't know, business as usual. Obviously, they have to work with the government shutdowns and whatever else, but as I've said in a lot of the other meetings, they are aware of the risk of that. So they try to keep cash flow, keep their budgets in a way that if it is to shut down for an extended period and things are to be delayed, they won't get into trouble. And if they do, they reduce their spending when they need to. So I think they're pretty responsible with it. So Charity's pretty responsible with it, so they handle it. That's all I have for this one. Not a whole lot of action or anything, so.
Andy?
We covered most of it with the roads department today. One other additional thing from the roads department, Daniel and myself has started the process of sitting down with every roads personnel and doing a mini review, kind of temperature check, so to speak, how things are going. So for the most part, it's went very well out there. So and they hopefully continue to do some more this week. So, but yeah, primarily roads right now. So, hope to have a safety meeting in March, again, for the first quarter. Kind of what's on my radar. I miss it. Did you say, do we have a timeline for any interviews yet on emergency manager?
Olivia at Zell is, had two that really, she was trying to go through them all to see if, you're from Utah, you realize this is York, Nebraska, York County, Nebraska. And so then she had two that they had a couple questions about what was the on-call, and then the wage did not get put in there that we talked about, 60 to 70. So she was gonna call back and talk to that, and then, I haven't heard anything, didn't hear anything yesterday. So no.
Mary, anything from your perspective?
No.
Okay. Just.
Finally,
Very good.
I need to remotion.
So we touched on the emergency management already. We did have Gene was in town a couple weeks ago, and we went through a bunch of stuff in that office for this interim period. So not much more to add on to that. Andy talked about roads. Good meetings out there. We'll continue those this week. One of the things that the theme that has come up there is stay on top of our equipment. So Greg mentioned that he's got some renewed bids. So we'll probably be bringing back at our next meeting for action on equipment at the roads department, looking both at a motor grader and a plow. So this board will either make the decision to move forward or not move forward in this budget year. Both of those items were budgeted for in this current budget year. Tech meeting, we're gonna meet this afternoon, after this meeting. YCDC exec board meets next week. And to Randy's point on zoning, been watching that 1204, and we'll need to start talking about our own current zoning situation in our county and move forward with that. So other than that, that's pretty much what I have. Anything that you have to add?
Thank you for offering, but not right now.
Okay,
Appreciate
very good. Anything else? If not,
Just that bill is stuck in the Natural Resource Committee.
okay.
That's where it's kind of sitting at right now. So if anybody feels, I'm sure you can always reach out to them.
Okay.
I'll shut off the hours. Jean Engel from Fillmore County. She's there.